You think of it this way. You leave a country, a communist country, you and you come to America. You come to North America with the idea of freedom, prosperity, liberty, all those types of things that we took for granted. Well, I shouldn't even say took for granted, but it was expected in Canada. Sorry, a semi just drove past. But so you're now seeing people going, "Well, I came here for this." And now you're saying, "Oh, I'm a democratic socialist. I fled socialism. Why would I wanna come here and say, 'Hey, the place that I left where it was riddled with corruption and poverty, why do I wanna come here and have those same policies enacted?'" So you're seeing, like, Democrats and I'll be fair, I'm astounded that anyone it has to be bots or something that supports Justin Trudeau. Like, it has
It
to be.
has to be. But to answer your question earlier, our viewer has answered your question. If you didn't have double standards, you wouldn't have any standards at all.
That's
Thank you.
it. That's it.
Thank you, Occupant 42.
Yeah, so a lot of what's going on here, you're seeing, Justin Trudeau, when we were at the bank during, like, the height of COVID, like, not the height that's coming, but we were at the bank and I was talking to a guy. Where was he? What was he from? I can't I think was it Russia? One of those Eastern Bloc countries. I was talking to him, and you could hear he had like a Scandinavian type of accent, and he goes, "This country's fucked." It in a lot more eloquent words, but he's like, "I fled a communist country, and now I see that happening here." Man, I agree with you. Like, would you not take the opinion of someone that is from a literally came from a communist country? You think people from Cuba go like, "Communism? Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love building another raft and trying to go I don't know where am I supposed to go?"
I mean, there's some people who I have talked to that were from communist countries, and they've said the same thing where they're like, you can see Canada starting to turn more communist, right? Like they're starting to
Oh,
adapt those
yeah.
type of things. However, you do hear from other people who maybe live in harsher communist countries. Like I'm pretty sure. I'm just gonna say, I'm pretty sure if somebody from China came here right now, they'd be like, "I'm free." Like I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be like, "No, no, no, this ain't no communist country. Go to China." So I mean, there are ones that are worse than others, but there are certain things that are very similar between communist countries and what's going on here. And I mean, we've all heard our boy Trudeau mention on numerous times his admiration for China and then the Cuba
Uh-huh.
thing too. So he seems to have a thing for communist countries. So
Yeah. And like anyone with any type of mind would go, "How could you admire a place that Cuba where they murdered people?" Like, they through a communist revolution, they murdered people, they overthrew a government. Does anyone remember how like, Cuba used to be not necessarily a paradise, but they had at least some type of technological advance. Now they're stuck in the what, 70s? They've been stuck in the 70s for the past
50s.
50 years?
50s. But see, and
Oh,
that's the funny thing too because like the reason for the vehicles in Cuba, all those old 50s, 60s vehicles, which is really cool when you go there and you get to see all these beautiful cars that you don't see nowadays, right? So it's very like aesthetically pleasing. However, when you actually figure out or realize why it is that they have all these old cars
mhm,
because they haven't been able to get in newer vehicles and literally their mechanics, they only know how to work on these old cars because of it. So
yeah.
that part's kind of sad. And I had remembered when they were talking about lifting the embargo. Yeah, that's embargo, right? On
Yeah, the US trade embargo.
yeah, that there were so many people that were talking about how the Americans are going to come, they're going to buy up all those cars and they're just going to destroy what makes Cuba Cuba.
Well, yeah, there was that. I know, I believe with Barack Obama, I think he started kind of pushing that idea of, well, Cuba's been hooped and they're 60 kilometers or 60 miles away. So we could basically just go liberate them. And Cuba did have a revolution. Like there was I guess, a democratic attempt at overthrowing the communist regime there. I suppose it didn't work because we don't hear anything about it. Alright,
Nice.